There it is, fits in there quite easily. I've got the seats removed from the back of my car to take some of the weight out because it's not a normal TT, but it fits easily in the back of an Audi TT. If you fold the seats flat in the front, at the back, this will go very easily. One of the things I don't understand is why they don't supply straps. So it makes things a lot easier to move these things around. Well, so we just removed these straps. So let's pretty sturdy lock that. So I've got that on like that. And we're all ready to go. Simple as that. So what we're dealing with, well, there's a very large 250 watt motor in there. I don't know if you can see the size of it. 180 brake rotors, hydraulic brakes. Very sturdy stand. It is really sturdy. Really good rear hub motor connector. Those flimsy ones that they had on the Engwe Engine Pro on the first one, those little plastic connectors, these are metal. I've seen these before anyway. Rest when it's folded, metal pedals, I like those. The mid suspension, and I do like this mechanism, it's really solid. We have a nice rear rack, adjustable seat, and a really comfortable saddle. 13 amp hour 48 volt battery goes in there. Close up of the folding mechanism, and then onto the front wheel, 180 rotors again with hydraulic brakes, spoked wheels, and 20x3 Chaoyang tyres. They're basically road tyres. View of the rear light, again not a brake light, it says it's an inertia light, but I've never seen it brake, but then I wouldn't, would I? And another view of that mechanism. It's very strong. Usual suspect Tawny derailleur with derailleur guard. Close up here of the locking mechanism. Locking gooseneck stem. But you can swap this out for the Engine Pro 2.0 BMX bars. Down here we have adjustable front shock. So instead of the normal on or off, it's actually adjustable. Again, like on the Pro, you can hear it clicking. That very bright front headlight, LEDs, and it is bright. I'll show you the night view of the Pro version. It's the same light. I've turned the main light off, but that's how bright. Look, that's my house. Look how it's shining over there. That's a really bright light. If we come round to the rear, look how bright that rear light is. Buttons, we like buttons. On the original version it had those little tiny buttons on that Yolin display. Check out that display, really bright, even in direct sunlight that's really bright. 7-speed quick shift. And what I think are Logan brakes, but they've been debranded or rebranded as something else, but there's some of the best brakes out there. I know I've said it before, but I prefer these to Tektro. I think Tektro are really overrated. one of the differences between this and the Pro, this has a 52 tooth front chainring, and I think it's 48. I'll double check on the Pro. So that's that. Let's go see how it rides.
So we'll give it a blast downhill, see what speeds we get up to. To point out before, on the legal e-bike you can go down there as fast as you want pretty much. But as you see, it's no slouch. You know, like the Pro, it's no slouch whatsoever. But yeah. Plus, no battery used. Now I can tell on this because it's not got a watt meter like the Pro. Right, let's do the hill climb. Now this has a bit of a different feel to the torque sensor in the Pro. You can feel the pressure coming from behind you, not the chain. It's an odd sensation. We've been riding around with the Pro for a bit, but it's also quite familiar. So I'm in pass 5, gear 5, out of the 7 gears we got, and I'm about to hit the boost button. Let's see what that does. Oh yeah. Yeah, no issues whatsoever. I'm not feeling any burn in my legs whatsoever, but I do know I'm doing that battery some grief. But yeah, looking at this could be one of the fastest bikes I brought up here. So yeah, it's done the hill climb, no problem. So with that confidence of the boost button, quite happy to do the bypass run. You can definitely feel the torque difference between this and that 100 Newton meters of the Pro version. This is definitely an all or nothing bike, but you do get a torque boost with that boost button. But as you know, whacking that all the time, you know, it depletes your battery quite quickly. And if you want to be going round faster all the time, you're probably better off with the Engine Pro 2.0. But if you want fully legal, this is the bad boy to have, one of these. Let's get onto the bypass. So yeah, I'm in pass 5. I've done 8.5 miles. And still on 5 bars. I expect that to drop down a bar quite quickly. But yeah, it's on the bypass, so I'll give it a bit of a pasty look. 16 mile an hour. The boost button works well with this, but then probably the same system as the original L20 or the L20 Boost. This is slightly lighter, but slightly heavier than the new Pro version. Yeah, no problem with the bypass run. To be honest, you could probably do the bypass run on a kiddie's tricycle. It's just a matter of having the balls to do it. Yeah, gone down to 4 bars now, look. Hit that boost button. And away, look. There we go. See, with the torque sensor on the Pro, you do that even quicker. But then you're dealing with 100 Newton meters of torque. This has less. Don't get me wrong, this is a brilliant bike. It's very comfortable riding position. It's very comfortable seat. And it's a nice day to be testing e-bikes. Now, before we come up to the brake test, this has the same 180mm rotors with those Logan copies or unbranded Logan brakes, which are my favourite brakes. So just for a change, we're not dealing with mechanical brakes. So I'm braking late, look, my hands are up here. And let's brake now. Oh, look at that. That is good brakes. I like these brakes a lot. In fact, these are I think I pointed out on the Pro review, these are my favourite brakes on any Engwe e-bike. Mechanical brakes on any bike that weighs over 20 kilos is dog shit. They don't have the linear traction hold on the rotor, and so therefore they're not as good for braking. You can see I'm doing 30 mile an hour down here using no electricity out of my battery because I'm freewheeling. Anyway, let's have some music.
It's gone forever. And every moment you've yet to live, you have.
So let's do Benny Hill. So if you've not watched the channel before, this hill really sucks out the battery because it's not just a hill, but it has curves in it, bends, hence calling it bendy hill shortened to a benny hill. I don't know where my logic is in that, but there it is. So we're currently in 4th pass, 5th gear. So I'm gonna go up the cogs a bit, make life easier for myself. And as we get into the gradient, pop it up into 5th. So yeah, it's getting up here all right, so far. So let's hit that boost button. Oh yeah, you can hear it cutting in the motor, can't you? And the speed increase. It's a bit noisy, the motor under load, but not as noisy as the L20 3.0 they had in America. Everybody moaned about the noise of that motor. You can see I'm still in boost, doing 13 mile an hour up here, which is quick. Yeah, it's quick. Made it up there, no issues, and I put hardly any effort into that. So normally you see me come up this hill and I start here, but today we're going to do a stop halfway up the hill. So we're going to stop here. So we're starting on a hill gradient. I'm in 1st gear, I'm going to hit that boost button and we're off. Absolutely no problem, look. Down the cogs. And can release it from the boost button now. And I'm in 4th gear, 3rd gear, past 5. No issues whatsoever. Yeah, I like that. So 11.7 miles in, 4 bars, I reckon that's more like 3.5 bars. Hit that boost button, that'll get me going. And we're off. Release the boost button because I don't need it now. Let's go have a mooch around town. We're off. It's quite nimble, but you'd expect it to be for the bike that it is. It's very light, it feels very lightweight. Yeah, it's not underpowered. I mean, once it gets up to speed, it's just as fast as the Pro version. Let's go to the tyre test. So, like I say, if it's ever I'm going to come off, it's round here. You can't really see the camber on camera. But as you can see here, these tyres have no problem gripping the tarmac on a decent camber. So we're doing the other horrible hill today. We won't be doing the original horrible hill because we're going somewhere different today. Just for variety. So I'm in 4th gear. Past 5 and I'm dropping it down to 3rd. Let's hit that boost button, see how that feels. Oh yeah, You can see the speed going up. This is not a nice hill. It's as bad as the other horrible hill. But yeah, you know, that boost button assists when you need it. So you've not only got your pedal assist, but you've got your boost button too. You know, for those extra gnarly hills, like this one. Made up here, no issue. I can tell I'm not out of breath. And that's a horrible hill. It's a phenomenally quiet e-bike. You know, I could just about hear that motor going. It's a bit louder under sort of pressure, but it's quiet. And it's down to those tyres. So I haven't got noise reduction on the mic, but you can hear it. It's quiet. So we're off somewhere a bit different today. It's about time we did somewhere different instead of the canal, as much as I love it, or the water park. We're going in search of Jane McDonald. I've been down here before, I've been down to New Miller Dam before, and it's a really stunning place. So just for variety, we're going down there today. Also, I'm back in shorts. It's short season started, which is nice. People keep asking me what mirrors they are, and I've added it into one video, a link to it. They're Meat Chow mirrors, so Google Meat Chow. They're not cheap, but they really are good mirrors. It's like having little widescreen tellies on the side of your bike. They're just, the field of view is brilliant. The torque sensor works well with this. It really does. There's a bit of a difference between obviously a torque sensor and a cadence sensor, but the more pressure you put on those pedals, the faster it goes. And you're sort of saving energy using a torque sensor. It's not as much all or nothing, but you do get a bit more all or nothing with a hub motor. Does that make sense? Probably not. But it does extend the range. You can definitely feel the torque in the boost button. Every time I press it, you know, like you sort of got a little bit more power going into the bike. I like that, it works. And it works on hills where you want it the most. When you're starting off on a hill at the traffic lights the boost button's there to help you. I don't know if it's just me, but it's really busy on the roads today. And a lot of people are struggling to give me any space. It's just like, get off the road, you're in the way. And it's just like, oh, cheers then. Hit that boost button. Feel me quads burning a bit. And that's what this boost button's for. More assistance to your assistants. Yeah, a bit downhill. Show you how good them brakes are. Late braking. Look at that. They're really good brakes. So you see the sign there, we're heading for New Miller Dam. Where our Jane lives. She's never here. She's always abroad filming something. But apparently she lives down here. And it's a really nice spot down here. Really is a nice spot. Yeah, I love it around here. What I should do is cycle round the areas I go to and just do this one, the canal and the water park, because seeing the same thing all the time just gets a bit boring and monotonous. Plus it puts the bike through different paces and tests. I mean, this is technically a road bike. It doesn't stop you from going on adventures with it. I mean, it's full suspension, foldable, you just throw it in the car. For me, it's a brilliant little bike. But again, this goes back to what I've been saying before. Engwe's growing up. Yeah, it's a nice spot round here. Morning. Morning, fella. reality of what is an actual legal UK and EU legal e-bike. And one of the things is, if you can unlock it, it's not legal. If there's any way you can bypass and increase the speed through the display, through the controller, it's illegal. The joy of this bike is it's fully UK legal. Same as the Pro, same as the N1 Pro, which is a commuter bike, is absolutely fantastic, and same as the LE20 cargo bike. I mean, you can still buy the unlockable ones from Engwe. I think they're going to be trying to phase them out because the marketplace needs to bear what the law is. My view on the law, you've probably seen my videos. It's a bit ridiculous that we've got to have two e-bikes because one can be unlocked and you can take it off road and use on private land. But here's another thing. Who owns private land enough to go riding e-bikes around on? It's a genuine question. What private land do you got apart from your garden? So the Wakefield Way, this 70-mile walk to get to Albury Bridge, where I do my hill climb from. The distance from here is about 5.5 miles. Pontefract, Thorpe, Ardlane, 7-3, right. Southampton's only 11.5 kilometres away. Stanley, where I go down, Stanley to Cass is 7.2 miles. Stanley is where I do the canal run. I reckon my LE20 could do it, and I reckon my Engine Pro 2.0 with the extra battery on could do it. I wish I'd have brought my GoPro with that anamorphic lens on, because I've been testing it out, and this would give you a real good aspect view of what it's like down here. Field of view's a lot wider, 21:9, and it crams a lot of information into that camera with that lens. Maybe next time, next review. Yeah, going back to UK e-bike law, my view on e-bike law in the UK is nobody's doing anything about it. It needs updating. The use of a throttle should be allowed up to 15.5 miles an hour. And really, there's not a lot of difference between 15.5 and 17.5 miles an hour. It's a small percentage. And it just makes the bikes feel a little bit more nippy and energetic. But you know, I've kind of got used to riding around at 15.5 miles an hour, and it's fine. It's fine. What we want and what we get, two different things. But since I've been riding these two bikes, this and the Pro, the way they nip around, I'm getting you through traffic. I can imagine riding these around London are great. In fact, it might be a future video.
Middle, side track.
So to give you some idea about how this suspension works, it's really, you know, it's got some give in it. And I've got this adjusted quite tight at the front at the moment. But yeah, it's bouncy. I love it around here. Anyway, let's go somewhere else and have another look around a different part of Wakefield. Came up here in one of my earlier reviews, and I've been up since on my bike reviewing, I've been up here on my bike since not reviewing anything, just for a ride round. It's a nice clear day, so it's worth coming up here. You can see the castle up there, look. Let's go have a look. It's got some really good views from up here. See, on tracks like this and tracks like through New Miller Dam, this bike's fine. I mean, I've yet to swap the tyres around on the one that I'm keeping for more aggressive profile, but it's going to get done. Come on in. Still, just. If you look over there, you can see the water park where I take us occasionally. Yeah, it's got no issues with sort of gravel track or anything like that. I know it don't look much like a castle, but trust me, it's a castle. So yeah, you can get out for the days out and go see a bit of history on your own doorstep. You never really knew it existed, or knew it existed and just couldn't be bothered making your way up there on foot. And especially on days like this when it's really nice out. Yeah. The great thing about these bikes is you get to go out on adventures like this. It's places you'd never normally go, and you go to places and you think, oh, didn't even know this was here. Until I got an e-bike, I'd never been down the canal. I used to windsurf over at the water park when I was younger. But I knew Sandal Castle was up here, but I never came up here. And it's a hell of a view from up here. So far, these are the two best, well, the Pro's the best bike they make. And I want to see how this fits in with the Engine Pro 2.0. But technically, it's a really good bike. It's better than I thought it would be. You know, once you've ridden that Pro, you think, oh, nothing's going to be as good as this. But yeah, it's worked out all right so far. Over there in the distance, it's the UK's biggest, or the UK's tallest. Let's see if I can zoom in on it. UK's tallest. Yeah, it's over there in the distance. That's zoom 2, so I ain't gonna pick it up. That's Emily Moore Mast over there. And over there is where the water park is, which I occasionally take you around on my reviews. But yeah, it's a really nice day. It's a really nice day for it. I ain't racing you. Normally we're on the path side of it because you're allowed on the path, it's part of the cycle route. Today, decided to come straight up on the road. Hit that boost button because my legs are getting a bit tired. That's better. Oh yeah, I'm just turning my legs now with a little bit of weight on my feet. Yeah, the torque sensor on this isn't as smooth as the one on the mid-drive, but I don't expect it to be. But it does the job very well. It's not a real big issue. You know, this is how well this bike works. It's just a doddle to get around on. So let's talk about the torque. It's 25 Newton meters less than that mid-drive on the Pro, which you can definitely feel the difference. The mid-drive with that torque sensor on the Pro and that 100 Newton meters takes off like rat down a drain pipe. It just shoots off. It's brilliant. But you know, with the boost button on, the boost button just gives you that extra push. I wouldn't say there was a lot in it, but it's enough for you to know that if you try both, the better of the two bikes is the Pro. And it's whether that micro difference, or say micro, it's 25% more torque, if that's worth the extra money to you. But you also haven't got the GPS security like this has got, with the built-in Find My Bike, and it kind of misses that. You know, with the mid-drive, with the security, and with a slightly better looking display. But on bright days like this, in bright sunlight, you can't really miss that, can you? I'm still on 3 bars, and I'm on 26 miles. Now I know this battery is going to fall off a cliff. And what you have to remember, there's 2 ampere difference between the one on the Pro and this one. But I really did torture the Pro, as it has been a bit easier on this because I haven't done all the hill climbs just going down the canal, coming back the hills on that. This hasn't done. New Miller Dam's just a slight hill, but coming up back from Stanley Canal, it's a different thing altogether. Anyway, see what it's like on the grass. As we saw, it can do gravel paths and all that quite easily. It doesn't struggle with any of it. And with this, it's just nice, no struggle. If I hit that boost button, I'm off. It doesn't struggle. I mean, there's a lot less give in these tyres because of the tyre pressure than there is by the 20 psi 20 befores, and so therefore you do feel the bumps a little bit more, but it's nowhere near as much as you think it would be. But yeah, it has no issues. I'm just surprised by the range on it so far. Don't forget, this battery has to sort itself out, so at the moment, until it's run a few cycles, it's not running its optimum. And it's the same with the other one, they're never running their optimum battery life. They need a few cycles in first. Do I like this bike? Yep. Do I like it as much as I do the Pro? Nearly. The Pro, I don't know. The Pro, I just love that mid-drive. That mid-drive is a game changer, even for Engwe. That boost going. You can tell now it's got down to 2 bars that I can feel it. The power's dropped a little bit. But, you know, most of this ride today has been pretty much all in pass 5. I've done a bit in pass 4, and I did the 0 pass, 1 pass, 2 pass thing, but that was only a temporary measure. Can't get over the fact that I know these 2 last bars have probably got 8 miles left in them, so it runs about right with the extra 2 amperes in the Pro. And you're constantly getting that torque with the Pro as well, at 100 Newton meters when you want it, and I use that quite a lot. But yeah, as far as how far Engwe have come with these bikes, it's a long way. I mean, 2 years ago when I got my first Engine Pro, I loved that bike. But in 2 years, they've gone from that to this. And this is just a completely different animal. And I have no confiscation anxiety with these bikes when I'm out on them. So there's that massive advantage there. Brilliant. So let's go on home and do the breakdown.
So yeah, what a day out. Right, let's get down to the nitty gritty. The L20 3.0 Boost. What did I think of it? Well, let's start with the first thing. The same as the Pro, it's got TUV certification. I'll just put a quick thing on the screen what that means. So it's not just the batteries tested for safety, but it's also the rest of the bike. Instead of like you see on these UL tested batteries, it doesn't mean that they've actually tested it doesn't actually mean they've tested the bike. So the bike's actually tested for sturdiness and safety and everything else, not just the battery, which for me is one up from the UL certification. So yeah, both of these bikes have that. Let's talk about the main differences between these bikes. The Boost is a hub motor running off a torque sensor and a 13 amp hour battery. The Pro is a 15 amp hour battery running off a mid drive, which makes it more efficient. There's a difference between the torque sensors. The torque sensor in the Boost isn't as good as the one that's direct drive within the mid drive unit of the Pro. I mean, it's not bad, in fact it's very good. It's not as good as the one in the Pro. The price difference is, I think it's about 300 quid between the two bikes. Don't forget there's a discount code in the description of this video, so it'll probably bring it down to the two bikes being like 300 quid apart. And for what you get with the Pro, do you need the security features of the GPS? Do you need the extra 2 amp hour of battery? Because there's not a lot in it battery wise. The only difference is that 100 Newton meters is permanently on tap, and the 75 Newton meters on the Boost isn't. So you've got to keep tagging on that boost button. For me, the Pro's the easier ride. Although, like you saw on the mid start of that hill, it has no problem starting off in hills whatsoever. Neither of them do. And there's the thing. If you can live without that screen, you don't want a mid-drive, and you're not bothered about the GPS, there's no reason for you not to get this bike. This is a really good bike. I enjoyed riding around on it for the day. It was just a nice day out. The weather was good for a change, so it just makes a difference to me. My real thing now is not judging it against my thing now is not necessarily judging it against the Pro version of this bike, but actually the Engine Pro 2.0, because they're both hub drives, they're both quite pokey, and they both have an half about range. Except if you buy the Engine Pro 2.0, it's got a lot of muscle in that bike. The torque might, I can't remember what the torque is, but I'll put up on the screen now, but it feels more. And the fact that I was able to drag that trailer up with all that weight in the back up the hill climb just proves how strong that motor is. So for me, if you want to be zooming around, going around everywhere at speed, because you can unlock the Engine Pro 2.0, as well you can't with this. If you want that ability to sort of like zoom around a lot, maybe for you the Engine Pro 2.0 is the better option. If you want totally legal, if you want to leave all the e-bike confiscation sort of stuff behind, you can do that with this bike. It did seem a harder ride than the it's probably down to that big chainring on the front, but it did seem a bit harder to ride than the Pro version of this bike. That Pro version of this bike is phenomenal. But that said, 300 quid cheaper, similar range. You just don't have the power on tap like you do with that mid-drive in the Pro. The brakes are really good. The brakes are the best brakes on any e-bikes Engwe actually makes at the moment, and they work equally well on both of these bikes. Every part shared, apart from the battery, the fact that it's a mid-drive and a hub drive for the different models, and the screens. Everything else is pretty much the same. So, like I said, unless you want that mid-drive, unless you want that GPS tracking, unless you want that prettier screen, and it is a really nice looking screen, if you can do without that, you can save yourself 300 quid and buy this bike. And like I said, it really is a good bike. As you see, these bikes have no problems being round on gravel tracks. They have no problems being on the grass. They even with the higher tyre pressures being, I'm running both of these bikes at 30 psi in those tight little tyres, and you can have them actually higher psi than that, but that seemed to be the sweet spot. So I'm gonna have to give it a score, right? And I'm gonna give it 9.5 out of 10, and there's a few reasons for that. It competes because it's a hub drive head to head with the Engine Pro 2.0, and just by a margin, a tiny margin, the Engine Pro 2.0 is a slightly better bike. And that's the main reason, is that you can unlock it and you can get it up to 27 mile an hour. You can de-throttle it. It's a slightly better bike is the Engine Pro 2.0, but like I said, tiny margin. Is this good value for money? These bikes are phenomenally good value for money. When you see the competition out there, both the Boost and the Pro both share the same IPX ratings, and they're slightly lighter than the L20 Boost, which is another bike you might want to throw into the mix, because that's an equally good bike, and it has the basket on the front. You don't have to pay any extra for it. You can also add the Engine Pro 2.0 BMX bars to this, folding BMX bars. They're not expensive. You could just add that in your basket when you buy it. They do Klarna, they do PayPal Pay in 3. There's various ways to pay for these bikes. That's the way I used to pay for them, straight out of PayPal Pay in 3. Anything goes wrong, you're covered by PayPal as well. So yeah, 9.5 out of 10, and that's a really good score for an e-bike. These e-bikes that Engwe are releasing now are just a cut above what they were releasing before. So what's coming up? Well, I've got a dual motor drive coming. I get to choose the companies that I want to work with. I've inundated daily by a different company offering me an e-bike to review, and two of the criteria that I have for that is, one, I need to be able to say what I want to say about the bikes without any interference, and even this company wanted to have final review of the video, and I said no. They also wanted to send me a cheaper e-bike, and I said no, I want this one because it's a dual motor, and I've not reviewed a dual motor e-bike so far. I had the Lancalese and I ended up selling it before I reviewed it. I didn't even pull it together, it was still in the box. So I had that Lancalese dual motor e-bike in the garage for ages and just sold it on because I just didn't have time to mess about with it. So I wish I'd have kept all of that just to review it. But yeah, this dual motor e-bike's come in. I've also got another folder come in, and at some point in the next month I've got the new EP2 Pro Boost. So they've thrown a boost and a torque sensor on the EP2 Pro, and I'm going to be reviewing that. I'm also going to be reviewing one of the few bikes that I really wanted to get my hands on and never did because I thought they were discontinuing it. I'm going to be reviewing the Engwe X20 which I've always thought would probably be the sweet spot of these bikes. So yeah, that's coming up in the future. Discount code in the description. I'll keep repeating it, and please subscribe. My subscriber numbers are going up. They're going up phenomenally well. And yeah, so that's it for this review. Have a nice weekend.